Well, it's 2 for 1. I mean, top 5 Tuesday again. It's taken me many, many spins to get a topic that I haven't already talked about, and I'm kind of losing track of which ones I've talked about and which ones I haven't, but never mind that, because we've got top 5 cities today. There's one very famous city that's not making it in. I'll tell you that for free. See if you can guess which one it is. So, now I've got to think of 5 cities that I've been to in recent memory. Recent enough that I can indeed remember them. Cities, then. Well, I can list 3 that are going to make it. The thing is, it's going to be very UK-centric, because as cities go, most of the ones I've been to have been in the UK. Make of that what you will. However, just in the interests of spicing things up a little, I think I'll include one from not quite the UK and one from very much not the UK. Again, limited in what I can do. I've not really been far outside the UK, so do bear with me on this one. But number 5, we're going to go... I'm going to put this at number 5. I suspect it would get higher if I actually had a chance to explore. But we're going to go... Now I'm trying to remember which one I went to. Dublin. I get Dublin and Belfast mixed up. I'm pretty sure Belfast is in Northern Ireland, which is in the UK, but Dublin is not in the UK because it is in Ireland. We didn't actually spend a great deal of time in Dublin, but the time that we did spend there was very, very good indeed. I went with my best friend, and we went on a big old road trip around Ireland. We started off in Northern Ireland, so we started off in Letterkenny and then ended up in Dublin via... Where did we go? We went to Galway and Limerick and a few other places besides, mainly along the coast. We went to see Giant's Causeway and we went to the cliffs of Moher? There is a way to pronounce that and I've forgotten how to. Probably one of those was right, maybe. It was a grand old time and we finished off in Dublin. By that time we were all knackered though, and I say all as in completely, not all as in all 2 of us. We were knackered because we'd just spent several days on the road, so yeah, we didn't really get the opportunity to properly explore the city, and I think had we had the opportunity to do so, then I think I would rate it. It's quite impressive because we went around a bit of it, and I remember there being a Muji there, which was quite interesting. And, I mean, it was a while ago now. It was many, many years ago, in fact. And it's no longer in recent memory, so I can't exactly remember what was there. But I do remember telling my brother about it after we came back. And I explained all the places we'd gone to and the park that we ended up in that seemed to be in the centre of the city. That was really nice. I can't remember if we did actually go in the park because I think it cost to get in, which is a bit daft. And then he said, that doesn't sound like where we went when he went to Dublin a few years ago, so he must have gone to a completely different part of it. And the 2 didn't match up anywhere. But yes, Dublin, excellent city. Number 4, we're going to go with probably Manchester. I do like Manchester, particularly like the trams in Manchester. Oh man, the trams are so good. We need more trams in this country. The thing is, because it's so simple, like there's the whole tram network, and essentially what you do is you get on the tram, you bop your card against the machine, and then you bop your card when you get off the tram, and away you go. And it caps out at however much... Like, there's a certain amount that you would pay for, like, a day ticket that gets you everywhere, and it caps out at that. So, that's a very good system, and I think that's kind of nicked from the Tube, London. But that's fine, because it's a really good system. The thing with it, though, is that you don't say, right, I'm going from, I don't know, Ashton to, let's think... Well, Manchester Piccadilly, let's just say that. You don't say, well, I'm going from Ashton to Manchester Piccadilly. You say, right, I'm going from Zone 3 to Zone 1. And it's really simple, and it costs you like a couple of quid. And you can go anywhere within that zone. And it's quite a big area. It's just so brilliant, and it's such a model for public transport, I feel. It's quick, it's efficient. I love it. But, you know, Manchester itself, it's such a sprawl that it's really difficult to, talk about it as a unit because there's just so much to it. It goes everywhere. And a lot of it is kind of grubby, it has to be said. I must be careful what I say because I know my mum watches these, being a Mancunian. But, you know, I'm sure she'll agree that parts of it are grubby, like any city. But when you get in the centre, Piccadilly and that sort of area, pretty good. Everywhere's kind of in walking distance. It's one of those situations. And, you know, there's a lot to do. There's the theatre and there's there was a pop-up arcade when I went one time, which was really cool. In fact, that's where I found out about Arcade Club. It was one of their pop-ups. And indeed, Manchester, Bury is near Manchester. I don't know if it's technically in Manchester, but Arcade Club. Close enough that I'm gonna give it to Manchester there, even if Bury is its own city. Yeah, pretty good city, Manchester. It's got everything you need. It's your stereotypical city, I feel, with a fabulous public transport system. Number 3, I'm going to go Köln. I liked Köln a lot. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's very difficult to pronounce if you don't say Cologne. We'll call it Cologne from here on out because that's the anglicised way of saying it, I suppose, and it's easier to say. The cathedral was mind-blowing. It looked like something from Castlevania, and it was so richly detailed. I couldn't even fathom how people could have made it. The Bahnhof was confusing as balls. It was like its own little town. Quite incredible. It reminded me of like the sort of underground bit of Total Recall, bizarrely. It wasn't quite as neon, but it was its own little sort of, it was almost like a shopping centre. It was really, really unusual, or unusual for me anyway. And, you know, they've got the chocolate museum. And you get to walk along the Rhine. Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely, and it's so clean, you know? It gave me this, I mean, there's a lot of cyclists there, and they will just run you over if you're not careful. But I don't know, it felt really nice to be there. I've only been there once and it wasn't that long ago, but it felt like a nice city. Once again, if we'd had opportunity to explore it a bit more, potentially it could be higher, but then again it's competing against Leeds. I like Leeds. Leeds, if you look at pictures of Leeds from 2013, grub, nasty, run down, looks like my hometown does now, even after its refurbishment and subsequent losing of money. But let's not talk about that. Leeds, it's lovely. It's your stereotypical city. It's got everything you need. It's got a retro game shop of sorts. It's more of a second-hand shop, but they happen to have a lot of retro games. I feel like they've sort of played up the games aspect. So they have a lot of retro stuff in there. They've got a bunch of gun cons just sort of dangling in the window, which is quite incredible. Don't know if they work. The Corn Exchange is a very nice indoor shopping place. The Trinity is a very good indoor shopping place. I remember when that was new, brand new. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but oh, me and my brother went there. Oh, it was like nothing else we'd ever seen. I mean, that's not strictly true because we had been to places like Meadowhall and Trafford Centre and so on, and it was kind of like that, except a bit smaller, but, you know, a bit cleaner, I feel. Trafford Centre's very gaudy. And the Trinity, you know, it's a nice space. It's never like mega crowded. It's quite easy to get around. Again, it's sort of you're not kind of blocked in like some shopping centres. It feels very natural and easy to get around. And the food court is just mwah. I don't know what I was going to say that started with B, but Bon Appetit, maybe? Great food court. It's an excellent place to go if you've got a party and you don't really know what to have. Well, it's a great go-to because it's got everything there. You've got pho, you've got pizza, you've got kebabs, I think, and you've got another place. It's got a bunch of other places. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what all is there, but woo, what a great city. And, of course, the Retro Game Fair, which is very often held in Leeds, hasn't been a thing for a good couple of years now, and I'm very annoyed. Want the Retro Game Fair to come back. Actually, saying that, was the last one last year? It seems so long ago now. But yeah, I think it was front end of last year, February, because that was the last video that I did on it. Man, I really wish it had come back. It was such a great event. Been keeping an eye out, but yeah, let's not talk about that now. Because we need to get on to my number one city, which is, of course, York. Oh man, York is such an amazing city. It's hard to describe. You see, somewhere like Leeds, it feels like a city. You go into York and you feel like you're, I don't know, you feel like you're in the past, and it's wonderful. It's a great feeling. You've got the that was weird. I just conflated York with Whitby there. I wonder if that should have been in my top 5. Anyway, York, you've got the walls, and you've got all these medieval structures that make up quite a bulk of the city, so you can walk along the walls and get around the whole thing. I have to say, I don't know what the public transport like is around there. It's in Yorkshire, so it's probably awful. Then again, it is also York, and that's the nicest part of Yorkshire, I feel. Yeah, they've got there's a lot of independent shops and businesses there, which is really, really nice to see. Something that I do appreciate, because places like, Manchester's good for indie shops, but most of it is the big chains, you know. Leeds is very much the big chains, unless you go into the Corn Exchange. But York is very, very, quite heavy on the indie scene. There's even, I've got it up on the notice board in the kitchen. Indie York, there's a whole map of independent shops you can go to, and it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful to see. There's a retro game shop, and it's an actual retro game shop, and it's a really good retro game shop. They don't overcharge for stuff, and they've got a great variety of things. Granted, it is mostly domestic produce, i.e. PAL versions of games that we don't really like, but if you're looking for nice items to add to your collection, consoles in particular, they've got a good range, and latter-day systems that don't really care about the whole 50-60 hertz thing, good place for that too. But really, it's the atmosphere that you go to York for, and the ancient structures, and the whole the shambles. Sorry, I keep knocking this mic. I'm not used to having it on a stand anymore. The shambles. The place where you'll just see a line of people trying to get hold of a ghost. Apparently that's a thing. Yeah, they've got it's a fantastic little alley, very old-fashioned, very cobblestoney, and lots of nice independent shops, including a fudge shop. And if I recall, you actually get to make the fudge, not make the fudge, get to see them making the fudge. And you get to smell them making the fudge too. Fudge doesn't smell good. Yeah, York, magnifique, and of course the York Cat Trail, and the York Chocolate Museum, York Chocolate Story, I should say. It's got it all. It's got it all. Anyway, that's a big old. I've talked for far longer than I thought I would about cities, but there we go. Guess I had more to say than I thought. Anyway, that's all from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.